Hello, and thank you for joining A Shark's Perspective. So, what would you do if you had a massive following in your home country and continent, and you were well known for something in your career, like celebrity well known, but wanted to transition longer term to something else? How would you handle normal celebrity versus a pivot to a different field? Renata Kaczoruk is a high end fashion model who has walked the most famous runways in the world. Appeared on the cover of a 2019 Playboy in Poland, where she was featured in an interview about feminism, a celebrity who appeared on the European version of Dancing with the Stars, an influencer with a large international following, the co founder of Girls in Tech Poland, and a digital marketer. And on this episode, we'll discuss balancing a life as a supermodel with an appearance on a famous TV show, feminism, having a huge international following as a celebrity and an influencer, and then translating that to a career as a digital marketer. So let's tune in to a runway superstar with a model shark on this episode of A Shark's Perspective. Renata, thank you so much for joining us today on A Shark's Perspective. Tell us a little bit about your background and your career to date.
My background from the start. Um,
Since you
my
were born,
background
yes, start at 1 year
since
old.
okay. I was raised in Poland in a town um, of a size of San Francisco, but very different speed.
Yeah, a little bit.
and I lived there until my 17th birthday, and then I flew to Paris to um, to turn into a model, and that was something very very exotic to me because I've always wanted to be a physician. I wanted to study physics, and I had very different ambitions than going on a runway. But that turned out to be a great journey for me and taught me a lot about creativity and about about anything you need to know before you really start living.
So, how long were you a model?
um Full time I only did 2 years, but then it turned into something that always gave me profit. Like for quite a few years, I would do something like mainly, and then I would do modeling that would give me money easy, so I didn't have to depend on whatever project I was taking on, but I would do something that was interesting for me and something that would develop me, and then there was always the stuff that I could make money on.
So, was the money crazy good as a Paris runway model?
It really depends. The costs of living in Paris, for example, are so high that you hardly make any money. But if you do well enough, you make crazy money in a very short period of time. So you also have to be, you have to be in good hands. That's the most important part. To find people that can really use your potential and show you direction, and basically help you not waste your time. If you do find these people and they can represent you well and show you the direction, then you're good. It can be a lot of experience and a lot of money and a lot of, yeah, good perspective on life.
So, what are some of the exotic locales that you've been to? I mean, you did the European runway circuit for a while, which is obviously the home, if you will, of modeling as we know it. But where else all over the world have you traveled?
Oh well, so after Paris, I tried obviously Milan and London and stuff that are places that are obvious to modeling world, but also, and then discovered um, I discovered Tokyo, which was my favorite place.
Hmm.
That was pretty exotic. Every show or editorial I did was something exciting and very like very surprising. The approach they had was something very inspiring to me. Um, but then I went to Singapore, Sydney, Korea, mm, New York, obviously. Oh my God, yeah, many places that I actually like spent some time. where I actually spent some time. But then there were also places where I would spend only a week, like South Africa or like the North, Finland, or yeah, like many places where I would never, I would never go at this age for sure, and I don't know if I would ever, if not for the work. So that was something that brought me a lot of understanding of how the world is various, and so plenty of different cultures and different perspectives and tastes and time zones
Yeah,
in
I'm sure. Well, the obvious first question I have for you then is, who are you wearing?
who am I wearing? Oh, it's actually a brand of like my friend's brand. So nothing very exciting. They have a boutique actually 5 minutes walking from my place.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, if it makes you wonder, I'm wearing Walmart and a t-shirt shop in Florida. So,
Okay.
but that's
All right.
that's always the question you hear of models, but or people being asked on the runway. So your life even today though is still just nonstop. I mean, I follow you on Instagram where you've got 100,000 plus followers checking you out on
Mhm.
every kind of runway show and gala and event where everybody else is dressed up in a tuxedo. I mean, when does the modeling life and the celebrity of that all calm down for you?
Um, when you're alone in your bedroom,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, when you look
Then you
at
can be naked, and that everything else. Yeah.
okay, go ahead. It's just a podcast, so we're fine if you want to go
Yeah.
ahead and do
Sure.
that. So
No, I think that if you do want to, like, I like to travel abroad because I do not have to remember that I'm a model and
yeah,
you know, I was, or a celebrity, because then I can wear, old t-shirt and shorts. But I will say that it does change your way of thinking about how you dress. It definitely makes more, like, you try to make it fun wherever
sure.
wherever you are. You're trying to make it fun, putting stuff, like wearing stuff in the morning, choosing stuff to wear. It's like it's yeah, it's something that you enjoy if you're into this industry.
Sure. Well, I met you at a digital marketing conference. Speaking of disappearing, because we didn't talk about really anything about your that part of your career. I know you were probably intimidated by my supermodel looks, but yet still we had a conversation about what you were doing in SEO. I still remember though the you were wearing what you're referencing. You were wearing a pantsuit that looked great, and then a German guy comes up and said, "I think I have that same outfit," which was oddly troubling, but you came up as well and talked a little bit after we talked about SEO for a while and what you were doing back in Poland and with the agency you work with. The other background that you have, which was also being sort of an influencer now in your country, and then you were also on Dancing with the Stars Poland. Talk about that experience, what that was like.
um
Are you
the,
laughing at me?
I am laughing at because I just realized that there is a lot of stuff that I'm doing. Yeah, I
What
don't know.
other
I,
stuff
I
are you
always,
doing?
no, all that all that she just said was, I just realized it's all from different worlds, and I wonder how I do it. No, no, I'm realizing that I was never good at choosing single things. So the only area in my life that I am able to choose is my private life. But when it comes to my interests, when it comes to what I want to do, it changes, and I do get interested in many things, and I want to try them on, like dresses. I want to try to do some project because it seems very interesting, and it seems like I could develop myself, learn a lot by doing, like by taking part in this project. And so I started many different initiatives, and it obviously taught me a lot, and I do still find the hunger within me for different random, sometimes something random things, and this is how I proceed through the life.
We'll talk about your experience with Dancing with the Stars.
Okay. Yeah, it was awesome. I love dancing. I danced when I was a kid. I danced in a ballet for 6 years, and I absolutely loved it. If I didn't grow too tall like I did, I would probably pursue this path of career. So going back to that, taking part in Dancing with the Stars was some. It was just like making my dreams come true, because I had a devoted trainer who was only focused on me, and we would train every day for 6 hours for the whole period between January and May, basically. So that was very challenging, but in the same time, it was just I couldn't be more excited and more devoted and more thankful for this offer. Basically, I was very happy. Although I must say that I didn't realize how much it would require from me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it would be demanding physically, but didn't know that it was so hard. And I did feel I did I did realize that I am 30, not 20 anymore, and I do have some boundaries physically, and yeah.
Well, then after we met, we talked SEO and we talked digital marketing and some other things. And when we were scheduling this interview, I obviously went to Google you because that's what people do. And prior to the meeting, just do some G2. And oddly enough, found you on the cover of the June edition of Poland's Playboy. So, and I know you weren't doing a nude pictorial, it was more of an article because you are a celebrity in Poland. And you talked about feminism in particular, which I think was really interesting that Playboy, of all, even the Polish version, would focus an article about feminism
Mhm.
in a Playboy magazine. So, what was the point you wanted to make about feminism, and why did you think Playboy was a good platform in order to make that?
You wanna when you wanna change something, you go to the root,
Yeah.
basically. So I felt that that was kind of a statement, and we did do a photo shoot, but I said that it could only be the editorial would be very fashion like and very subtle, and there would be hardly any nudity, and I wanted to be feel like an object, and I wanted to change. I wanted to show something very different from what they have been doing. I wanted to have this shoot change the perspective on the woman that is the subject of the photo shoot, and I wanted the interview to explain that and talk about feminism and the Me Too movement and about sexism, because these are very important topics to me, and I've been fighting for myself and my friends, girlfriends, forever. And I wanted them to, and I just want to have them realize that there is something else than subjects to watch and subjects to get guys excited. And, you know,
Good for you.
yeah, like that was definitely a statement because I felt that I could change some people's perspective on women and on nudity and on the role of a woman in today's world. And I've always wanted to change these this medium. I did not appreciate Playboy being a place where girls would be, you know, objects to look at and serve some purpose that we are not meant to serve.
So you co-founded Girls in Tech Poland, and what was the impetus and inspiration for that? I know that's something obviously you're passionate about. But I know this also, whether it's Playboy or Dancing with the Stars or your life as a supermodel or whatever it is, you're giving young girls an opportunity to see somebody like you that's so smart and confident and have them help embrace what they can do in technology as well.
It goes with, it has to do with what we've been talking about when we talked about Playboy. I feel that women are not yet where they should be. They should know that they should go after their interests, that they should fulfill their needs, their interests, their passions, and not follow the rules or the roles that were set for them so far. And so far they were set for taking care of the house, of the weaker, of the husband, of the children, of like taking care of stuff and not doing what they really want to do and what they want to explore, and not having, I feel that they do not have enough power, enough influence over the, the process, over over how the world looks like, you know. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have enough influence over what's happening in the world, how the world is set up. And I feel like technology is the field that is growing so fast, developing so fast, and this is the area that really will set up the, you know, the future of our society. And I feel that there should be more women so that they have more influence over the politics, over the economics, over the things that matter and the things that influence our lives, you know? So I want them to be in control, and technology is the tool.
Well, I've like I said, I've told you before. I've also tried to do a better job, just in my own mind, in quest to highlight more smart and strong women on this show. And I know that you know, having
Yeah.
someone like you who has the background that you do. I mean, and you'll have to admit there are not a lot of supermodels who have, you know, bachelors in neurocognitive science and masters in mathematics and science, but there are those out there like you who have those degrees, and
Yeah.
you know they just
And they should purpose, they should you know, follow their dreams of being physicians
exactly.
and engineers, and not the cooks, and not the mothers stuck in their home, mothers stuck in their homes, waiting for the husband, and secretaries and assistants, and you know, all these roles that are just below their potential.
So, what is your interest? I met you at a digital marketing conference.
Yeah.
We've had other conversations previously about your interest in search engine optimization in particular, but what is it about digital marketing as to where you want to go with your own career?
um I would now, actually, after having spent some time in Cannes, I realized that my I would be very interested in having more connection with creative side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to work on maybe campaigns that are you know, using digital media, and I'm definitely interested in it. I feel that it's so great that for internet you can reach so many people from such different backgrounds, and you can use it not only for advertising something commercial, but you could also send a good, you know, meaningful message to people and change somebody's day, at least, somebody's way of thinking. And I think this is where my thoughts are going. You know, I feel like I really appreciate campaigns that did move my heart and did move my brain, and I would love to see myself working on such messages, some such campaigns. And the digital marketing is only a tool, again, like Playboy, or like. roles in tech.
You're going to
I
take over
feel
the
that,
world. Yeah.
yeah, you take the tools that are out there and use them for your own, your own goal, your own purpose.
Well, I think you have an interesting puzzle. You have 100,000 plus followers. You're a celebrity in
Mm,
Europe, and you've been a famous runway model. You've been on, I'm sure, one of the top TV shows in Poland, in Dancing with the Stars. You, in a way, hide behind that in technology. You've been on the cover of Playboy
mm,
in a European version. So many people that are influencers and want to be influencers in this country are racing as quickly as they possibly can to get to 100,000 plus followers. I mean, that's something a lot of people wear even as a badge, if you will.
mm.
How are you going to take your large following and transition what your audience is often used to? I mean, they are used to Renata, the model, the supermodel, the Dancing with the Stars contestant, the Playboy cover girl. How are you
Mm.
going to take that and translate that into a career in marketing and technology?
I've been thinking about it a lot. It's a tricky one because, like you said, the followers, they follow me because they love TV shows like
Yeah,
Dancing with the Stars, or they love my photo shoots, and they want to learn about how I exercise, and how I eat, and how do I do it that I look the way I look and stuff. So it's really hard, but in the same time, I thought, yeah, I just let them realize who I am really today, because I change every day. And the only way to make this transition is to let them be a part of my transition.
yeah,
Let them um, follow it.
yeah.
If they're followers, then let them watch it. Let them be have some, not maybe influence, but let them support me in that process and be true. It's really hard. Authenticity is really difficult in social media because there's so much judgment, so you don't want to get too much too hurt. But there's way to protect yourself and be real in the same time. And I want to do that. I decided that I won't be, because I haven't been posting much in the recent time. I have been focusing on, learning about digital marketing and business, and I really just let them be disappointed by me not
No,
posting
not at all.
much.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to change it, and I decided that the way to do it is just to share my everyday with them and share my thoughts, my real thoughts with them.
Well, I can tell you that, after talking to you for an hour about SEO and digital marketing, and then weeks later learning about your other life,
Mm.
that's to your credit. You're holding your own in SEO and digital marketing. And now I will admit, you're the only person I've ever known in SEO who's been on the cover of Playboy and done photo shoots in Bali or the runways in Milan. So you do have that distinct advantage. I just, it's funny what you were talking about with transitioning that audience. It's almost like looking at Instagram versus LinkedIn. It's a change in the way the two sides of a coin that we're on, especially with you
Yeah.
with the life you've created. But you'll do it. So then, Renata, you're on a shark's perspective. I got to ask. And you met somebody that they announced at the conference named Shark. What is your favorite kind of shark and why?
What is my favorite shark? The most dangerous and the fastest.
Oh,
You tell
me.
me which one.
The mako shark is the fastest shark. The bull shark is probably the most dangerous. They're the nastiest.
Uh-huh.
I have to watch out for on a dive. But either one of them's not that friendly.
Oh, they're not friendly. Okay.
It depends. You just have to
So,
respect the waters. You've got to respect their territory and where they live, like with any wild animal.
I will try to learn from them. I'll try to learn from them because being nice is not always the best idea. And to achieve something, you sometimes have to be a little less.
Yeah, how do you think I got my lovely nickname? So I would agree.
Oh, really? Is
Well,
it
no, I got it
that
from diving, but I would say that the
okay?
latter probably explains a lot more than diving as a kid. So, or not, it's that special time in the show. Are you ready for the five most interesting, important questions that you're going to be asked today?
Yeah, I am. Although I just had a thought that I should change my place a little, rearrange it because for the last year my motive animal was unicorn and it should become a shark right now. I
How about a unicorn shark? So,
think. Maybe.
well, all right, here we go.
What
Number one, the runways of Paris or the runways of Milan?
Paris? No question.
Of course, that's the same thing I would have said, of course, not knowing. Model, dancer, celebrity, or digital marketer.
Oh my god, that's even worse. So I would rather be a dancer doing some modeling from time to time. I do not I do not appreciate being a celebrity. Definitely. That's not my way at all. And then digital marketer on the side.
Okay, I'll go with that.
No, no, definitely not on the side. I think that it's important for me to have this free, this area, this room for my self-expression, and I do it through dance, and I do it through modeling, because that does require you to have the connection with your sensitivity, with your emotions, everything that's alive within you, and that's really hard when you to keep a connection with when you're in an office working in front of your screen. And I feel that we do get that gets stolen from us when we when we work in an office for too long. So I will always want to have some of modeling and or some of dancing in my life, but I do want to set up um, I do want to have some business of mine in the future. And I do want to learn about digital marketing and how I can use it for my purposes. And that would be something that I would be focusing mostly during the day.
Okay. Number three, the
Mhm.
tango or the cha cha?
Tango,
Okay.
tango, obviously.
Number four,
Tango is
obviously.
like, obviously, yeah, because I mean, cha-cha is playful, and but I love tango for the you know the feeling of proud of being proud in this dance. That's amazing how you feel when you dance tango, and how sharp you can be, and um, how proud, how sharp, how this feeling of dignity and
Well, I should have asked you
and
tango
power.
versus. I should have asked you tango versus Texas two step, but I didn't. So take it.
I wouldn't know. So you chose right. You chose better.
All right. Number four, the House of
Mm.
Versace or the House of Givenchy.
Givenchy.
Of course, again, reminder that I come from the House of J.C. Penney. So number
I
five,
guess no.
and number five, and the most important question that you're going to be asked today is biscuits or cornbread.
Neither. Neither of them. Gluten. Come on. And processed food. You don't want to eat these. I am more into quinoa and salmon.
Okay. So, Renata, where do you want people to go to find out more about you, follow you, and learn more and follow your career with where you're going? Is it LinkedIn
Well,
or
it doesn't.
Instagram?
I would rather, yeah, the people that will be listening to that, they should definitely go on LinkedIn. Um, because my Instagram account is something else. And I do want to show my transition on both, but I think that just the formats are very different. So you won't learn much about me on my Instagram. You will learn more about how I look and where I am. And maybe you can find some posts where I talk about my thoughts on different stuff. But LinkedIn is something that where I look for inspiration, and I may post something really interesting, something that develops me in terms of business. Mm.
Thank you, Renata, very much again for being with us today on A Shark's Perspective.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was a pleasure.
So there was my conversation with Renata Kaczoruk, a high-end fashion model who has walked the most famous runways in the world, appeared on the cover of a 2019 Playboy in Poland, where she was featured in an interview about feminism, a celebrity who appeared on a European version of Dancing with the Stars, an influencer with a large international following, the co-founder of Girls in Tech Poland, and a digital marketer. Let's take a look at 3 key takeaways from my conversation with her. First, if you, like Renata, have a large group of followers and a worthy cause, like making sure that women are empowered and treated with respect, then do not hesitate to go into the belly of the beast and make certain that your voice is heard. I applaud her for going directly to Playboy and talking specifically about how women should not be treated like objects. It may sound like an odd place to say it, but she has a loud enough voice to make certain that her thoughts are heard on feminism and girls in technology and many other thoughts. Second, smart women, smart people of any gender for that matter, come in many more shapes and sizes than you may realize. Someone who is pretty, and I mean runway model pretty, who has graced the cover of many magazines and been the star of photo shoots, can also really be smart. Earlier in the year, I can tell you that I firsthand had a great conversation with her on an intellectual level, and all we talked about was SEO and digital marketing and her degrees in cognitive psychology and mathematics and science. I had zero idea that she had this massive following overseas, and it helped remind me of something simple that we should always think about. Never judge a book by its cover, and treat all people with respect. Third, how do you translate a large following and move it elsewhere as you change directions in your career? And how do you take that to another country? I mean, this is such an interesting puzzle because it will affect a lot of people who do change careers and for young influencers who are building out a channel. So many influencers work so hard to build a large following like Renata's, but her following is somewhat niche because of where she physically is in the world. And just because you're a big name in Europe, well, that may not translate to Peoria, for example. She can't travel in Poland and not be recognized, but she can travel in the US fairly incognito. She's moving from a model slash celebrity career to a career as a marketer slash digital marketer. And influencers, like the rest of the world, evolve. And when their audiences are cultivated correctly, then they'll follow her journey as long as it's part of a transition. What I have personally seen a lot of influencers do too much is spend too much time on counting follower growth and not enough on where they actually have influence. I've seen some failures who took a hard pivot left, for example, when they were influential right, and that's not a great recipe. However, Renata doesn't have to drop one channel for another. I mean, she's not dropping Instagram for LinkedIn. She simply has to let a different part of her story be told on both channels. And some of that can and should meld together. And for her, it may not be SEO. It may be CEO someday of a tech company that helps fashion brands, and that can play on either channel where her following would grow much, much larger. Just always respect your audience, know where they are, what channels you want to engage on, help them transition with you, and remember to focus less on influencer and more on influence. Got a question? Send me an email to kenneth@asharksperspective.com. As always, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. Please consider leaving a review. So now it's time to be fashion forward before it gets too fashionably late. So join us on the next episode of A Shark's Perspective.